How heavy is this glass of water? Melissa, would you care to answer?
8 ounces.
12 ounces.
16 ounces.
The absolute weight of the glass doesn't matter. It depends on how long I hold on to it. If I hold it for a minute, nothing happens. If I hold it for an hour, my arm will begin to ache. If I hold it all day long, my arm will feel numb and paralyzed. Well, the weight of the glass hasn't changed, but the longer I hold on to it, the heavier it becomes. The stresses and the worries of life are like this glass of water. If you think about them for a little while, there's no problem. Think about it for a little bit longer, it begins to hurt. You think about them all day long, and you'll feel paralyzed, incapable of doing anything. Always remember, put the glass down.
The thing is with school teaches you to be an employee. It doesn't teach you to be the owner of a company. It teaches you to be an employee. Like, why do you think you're never taught how to do taxes or something like that? Because if you're an employee, you don't have to deal with anything. For me, I feel like school doesn't prepare you for real life. It just throws you in a building and says, learn this, learn that. But then I step back and realize that school is literally just a place to help you find yourself. And then once you find that thing in school that makes you happy, you have to just go straight for it and go hard on it. Don't just do what school tells you to do. Do more than that. If you enjoy sports, work hard at it. You know, train for it. Find the club, do something to help you get better at it. School teaches you the bare minimum, and if you want to be up there, then you gotta work hard for it, man.
Where is the wealthiest place in the world? It's not China, it's not Dubai, it's the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, you will find inventions never invented, businesses never erected, songs never sung, books never written, ideas never nurtured, people never realized, because they were scared to take a risk. Scared like you. But you want to know something else? You're not in the graveyard yet. See, this present moment is so precious. We have to be here. We have to be in it and make the most of it. We have to live our dreams now because they are possible.
Real lions like to hunt. They love the process just as much as they love the prize. And some of y'all just want to score. You don't like the process. You're not in love with the process. You just like to put the pads on. You love when it's showtime. Everybody in the crowd, you're like, hey, Mom, can you see? You can't even start until you know your people there. Once you see them, you're like, showtime. A real man in the dark, when nobody's watching, he putting in work. A real man, when coach ain't even watching, he's studying film on his own because he loves the process.
I'm going to let each one of you pick out the car of your choice. Sounds good, doesn't it? Pick it out, any color, you name it. It'll be tied up with a bow, and it'll be at your house tomorrow. And you say, well, what's the catch? And the catch is that it's the only car you're going to get in your lifetime. Now, what are you going to do knowing that that's the only car you're ever going to have and you love that car? You're going to take care of it like you cannot believe. Now, what I'd like to suggest is you're not going to get only one car in your lifetime, but you're going to get one body and one mind, and that's all you're going to get. And that body and mind feels terrific now, but it has to last your life.
In this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Sure. And basically said you come from a poor family and you could struggle your whole life and try to get rich, but you're not going to make it. And if you come from a rich family, you could be stupid your whole life and make it. Not because it was thinking, but it was unconscious behavior that was downloaded from rich families into kids, which is unconscious. So they're making the right moves unconsciously. If they engage their conscious mind, then they look stupid, but it's unconscious. And that's the same thing with poor people. Poor people have beliefs from the family, oh, you can't make it, life's a struggle, things are hard, who do you think you are? And if that's the program you get, then 95% of the day you will sabotage yourself. And that's why poor people stay poor and rich people stay rich, because the programming.
Well, now that we can see how short life really can be, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? That's a trigger. That's the biggest trigger that I have ever experienced. What are you going to do the rest of your life? And what I had to do is I had to start taking some of my own advice. I have been telling people, I had written about it for a very long time, that if you're doing something that you're not totally committed to, if you're doing something that you're not totally passionate about, you're compromising yourself every day.
I tell my kids all the time, experience is priceless, man. It's a shame you got to pay for it with your youth. I tell them that all the time, man. Because, you know, my kids, they grew up, they're in the Google age, right? So they think because they can Google, they think they know. And I be telling them all the time, it's a lot of you can't Google. Dad, you can Google anything. No, you can't. So they challenged me the other day, said, Dad, name 2 things you can't Google. I said, you ready? I said, Google success. Go Google it. Google it. Go Google success. Now, go be it. Just you do what is. You can't Google success.
When you focus on the past, that's your ego. I did this. You know, we were able to, you know, beat this team 4-0. I did this in the past. I won that in the past. And when I focus in the future, is my pride. Like, yeah, next game 5, I do this and this and this. You know, I'm going dominant. That's your pride talking. Like, it doesn't happen. Like, you're right here. And I kind of like try to focus in the, you know, in the moment, in the present. And that's humility. That's being humble. That's not setting no expectation. That's going out there, enjoying the game, competing at a high level.
We didn't actually come up with the name Tesla Motors. We didn't own the name. It was a guy in Sacramento came up with the name and owned the name, and we had to buy it off him for $75,000.
You wanted that name that badly?
Yeah. The guy in Sacramento really didn't want to sell us the name either. I sent the nicest guy in the company to just go sit on his doorstep and not leave until he agreed to sell it to us.
A sweet guy.
The nicest, impossible to anger, nicest person. So eventually just the guy said, fine, I'll sell you the name.
If you leave my doorstep.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here's the lack of empathy. This is normal in our business world. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into our office and says, your numbers have been down for the 3rd quarter in a row. You have to pick up your numbers, otherwise I can't guarantee what the future will look like. How inspired do you think that person is to come to work the next day? Here's what empathy looks like. You walk into someone's office, someone walks into your office and says, your numbers are down for the 3rd quarter in a row. Are you okay? I'm worried about you. What's going on? We all have performance issues. Maybe someone's kid is sick. Maybe they're having problems in their marriage. Maybe one of their parents is dying. We don't know what's going on in their lives.
Put some things together, 3 or 4 things you can do every day to start the day, kickstart your day, get going in your day, to give you a sense of respect for yourself, accomplishment for yourself. Look, just beating that sun up every morning gives me the sense of accomplishment, that I did what I said I was going to do, that I woke up when I said I would wake up, and I start building respect for myself, start believing in myself so that I can go out into the world and maybe today when I go into this meeting that I'm dressed for, maybe they'll believe in me as much as I believe in me, and that'll show up in a contract, a deal.
Time creates distractions. Literally, time, if you're like managing time, you get all these distractions that are going there. What does focus do? It blocks them out.
Right.
So don't worry about managing time. Manage your focus. Be in that moment when you're in that moment, and then you'll get so much more done during that time. Mm-hmm. All right. You know, time tells you to stop. All right. Focus tells you keep going. Mm-hmm. When you focus, what do? You just keep going. You just keep going.
The anxiety has this ability to stretch your soul thin, and you feel out of control. Depression, on the other hand, is when you feel like your life is being constricted inward and darkness is enveloping over you. Typically, if you have any level of anxiety, depression will follow. If you have depression, anxiety is right around the corner. I read this great quote. I think it's amazing. It says this. It says, having anxiety and depression is like being scared and tired at the same time. It's the fear of failure, but no urge to be productive.
Most people want to be happy, but their habit is to be worried or pissed off or frustrated or stressed. And so they've got a highway to stress and they got a dirt road to happiness. So I wire myself. I've got a highway to gratitude, which changes all your emotions. And then I do 3-minute process of kind of a prayer for my family and friends, and then I do a 3-minute process of the top 3 things I want to accomplish. I see it as done, and I feel it. I'm done in 10 minutes. So sometimes I go 20, but my deal is 10, so there's no excuse not to do it.
Every single day has to be a pursuit to get better, to improve, to grow, to stretch, because you are ultimately chasing the destiny version of you. Do you hear me on that? Say yes. So every decision you make in business, every call you have, whether you go to the gym or not, you need to put it through this paradigm, through this barometer. Does this decision, does this relationship I'm in, does this choice I'm making right now put me closer to becoming that man or woman or further away?
Other people's perception of you ain't none of your business. Everything you've ever been through, sat through, rose through, cried through, prayed through, everything is a setup for your next best season. In the way you forgive the perceivingly unforgivable, the way you love the perceivingly unlovable, the way you accept what seems to be unacceptable, the way you embrace after you've been betrayed, the way you do that is the way you will lead us. Your light belongs to everyone who'll be illuminated because you were bold enough and obedient enough to let your light shine.
And you're sitting there waiting for your boss or your spouse or your friends or your family to do the thing, to encourage you, to love you, to validate you. I'm here to tell you, you need to make it a habit to start every fucking day validating yourself, cheering for yourself, because life is a marathon. And this might be a challenging leg where you're like, I'm just going to throw in the towel. I'm not going to do that thing. Hell no. If you're standing in front of that mirror, you deserve to feel the support and empowerment and encouragement that you need. And so stop waiting for everybody else to do it. Stop waiting.
There's no amount of money that will ever make you stop if money is what you care about. You'll keep going. Oh, I got $1 million. Got to get 10. Got 10. Got to get 100. Got 100. Got to get 5. Got 5. Got to get $1 billion. If it's cars, you'll never have enough cars. If it's women, you'll never have enough. You'll be chasing them forever. If it's success, you can never get enough of that. I realize that. It's like, it doesn't stop. It keeps calling you. It's like a drug.
It's a hamster wheel.
It's a hamster wheel. And it's like, you're never satisfied.
Sometimes life's going to hit you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith. I'm convinced that the only thing that kept me going was that I loved what I did. You've got to find what you love. And that is as true for work as it is for your lovers. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better and better as the years roll on.
All successful people, of my experience, are people who are living fully engaged. They are fully involved in their lives and in their goals. They don't do things by half measures. They may have no guarantees, but they're not afraid to put their whole hearts into their activities. If they fail by trying greatly, not by playing it safe and wishing and hoping that everything will work out all right in the future. What they do is they take great risks with no guarantee of success. And so can you.
Those times when you get up early and you work hard, those times when you stay up late and you work hard, those times when you don't feel like working, you're too tired, you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway. That is actually the dream. That's the dream. It's not the destination, it's the journey. And if you guys can understand that, then what you'll see happen is that you won't accomplish your dreams. Your dreams won't come true. Something greater will.
Life will throw you a ton of curveballs. It's scary. But like, if you believe, man, you know, if you believe, and if you want it, and if you want to work hard enough for it, it can be so. Because there's no difference from me and you. I just really wanted this shit. I wanted it back.
It's kind of fun because when this goes online or whatever it is, it really matters. And it like really doesn't matter. What matters is, you know, the people who are sparked by it and the people who are like offended by it. It doesn't fucking matter. Fuck you, you know, like, because it's about motivating the doers. And anyone that wants to sit around and talk shit, they're taking too much time talking shit about it instead of getting up off their ass and following their dreams. Because I'm here to follow my dreams. you know, and help other people follow their dreams and inspire people who are dreamers.
I've told students if when they got out of school, they got a punch card with 20 punches on it, and that's all the investment decisions they got to make in their entire life, they would get very rich because they would think very hard about each one. And you don't need 20 right decisions to get very rich. You know, 4 or 5 will probably do it over time.
Staying true to who you are is easy when you know who you are. And I think that I'm 31, and through my 20s, I had to really get to know myself. And I had a lot of like what felt like maybe a carpal tunnel because I was just writing a lot about journaling, about who I wanted to be, what my goals were, and all these different things. And when I look back at those journals, I laugh because I feel like I was so immature. Like I really wanted such little things.
I like running. I'm running my whole career. I always do fasted cardio. I like training on an empty stomach because it takes you someplace. You're in a different mindset. You're in survival mode almost. You're on the hunt.
7 days a week, sleeping in the factory. I worked in the paint shop, journal assembly, body shop.
You ever worry about yourself imploding? Like it's just too much?
Absolutely. No one should put this many hours into work. This is not good. And people should not work this hard. They should not do this. It's very painful.
Painful in what sense?
It hurts my brain and my heart.
Believe. That's all you got to do. Believe in yourself. Stand on your square and accept no negativity in your belief. You know what I mean? It's like it's actually called integrity and perseverance meeting together, and just trusting in that. Be who you are, believe in your inner power, you will prevail.
How often do you still battle with depression? Oh, I'm always depressed, all the time. I have to constantly bring myself out of it. Like I wake up depressed, but I'm like, okay, now I know my steps, because you learn from real, now I have to go outside and be in the sun for a little bit, or go for a walk, or start the day this way. It's all just programming yourself to trick your brain, you know?
Were you ever suicidal?
Yeah, all the time. But I can't, because I got a mom and a sister and a family. So I've always been suicidal, but I've never had the balls.
My biggest inspiration is my experiences. I love women. I look up to a lot of strong women. Brene Brown, people that have helped me grow. But my biggest inspiration is my life, and I love my mom as well. She inspires me a lot.
Love is passion. Obsession. Someone you can't live without. All head over heels. Find someone you can love like crazy and who'll love you the same way back. Because the truth is, honey, there's no sense living your life without this. To make the journey and not fall deeply in love, well, you haven't lived a life at all. But you have to try. Because if you haven't tried, you haven't lived.
One of the keys is remember where you came from, keep that shit in the front of your mind, and when shit goes bad and it goes sideways, a lot of shit does, you're getting booed out of the fucking building, or you're coming through this injury, or people are writing you off, oh, you guys ain't gonna fucking make it, any of that shit. You gotta keep it in here. And it really it should drive you.
I really like to talk to people about their losses, because it just really tells me a lot about who the person really is. I'm not sure success does, but I know failure does. So I ask that. I ask one of the questions I ask them is, who do you know that I should know? And that's led me to meet some incredible people in my life that somebody else opened the door that I wouldn't.
If I were to do this, or if I were to give you, are you strong enough? Are you capable of being someone that's going to be in my life? That's how I approach things now. And I'm not being conceited. I'm saying it's actually an honor to be with me, because I think I'm a great person and I love people deeply, and I won't tolerate ever being treated the way that I had been.
Balance work with play.
You can't do all of either one and be successful. And to those whom much is given, much is required. And if you work really hard and you're a really diligent person, make sure that you do some play to balance your life out. If you play real hard but you don't work very much, you're going to be fun, but you're going to be hungry.
We got to be excited about the future. We got to do things that make us want to live. You know, it cannot always be about problems every day. I mean, do you want to wake up every morning and everything's just a problem? Well, what inspires you and what makes you excited about the future? There's got to be some things like that.
If I leave here with anybody liking me, I failed. You understand what I'm saying? I failed. I'm not here to be your friend. You want a friend, go get a dog. I'm here to drag your sorry ass across the goal line, no matter what it takes. And there's no better on the planet than me at doing it, as demonstrated by all the tens of billions I've created.
If you're doing the right thing, if it feels like it's right to you. And when you hit the thing that feels right, when you know it's the right thing, you know it's right because it gives you your juice, and you know it's right because you would do it for nothing. You would do it for nothing and find a way to be able just to do it in order to be able to continue. That's how you know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
That women should be financially independent. It doesn't matter who your father is, it doesn't matter who your husband is going to be, it doesn't matter who your brother is, it doesn't matter who the man in your life is. You need to be responsible for your finances and be financially independent.
The greatest of all time. What a dangerous man. Shouldn't have doubted him. The usual.
You feel that you've been doubted?
Of course.
Do you feel that's been fair?
Yes. I don't really care about it. It's fuel to me. It's fuel to me.
Someday, whatever you're chasing right now, the thing that you might have just missed is the high school prom of your life. It's a rearview mirror story. There's decades of great things that are going to happen because of this pursuit if you give it the decade.
Nobody cares about your hardest working day. What helps you win is your bottom 100 worst working days. Don't brag about the day you work so hard. I care about your bottom 100. That's where you lose. And that's where you...
Confidence is not something that happens overnight. Don't rush yourself. As long as you're doing one thing a day to make yourself feel empowered or feel loved, or just look at yourself in the mirror and go, dang, girl, you look good today. Loving yourself is a process, and everybody's on their own clock.
You see this guy here staring back at you?
Yeah?
That's your toughest opponent. Every time you get into the ring, that's who you're going against. I believe that in boxing, and I do believe that in life. Okay?
I don't have time to be angry. You know how much time it takes to hold an attitude and a grudge? That's time and energy. I don't have that time. The time that it takes you to go, I don't like that person, and keep that in you over a period of time, that's a lot of time that can be devoted to something positive.
You know, I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said.
Who pays on a first date?
Who pays?
Who pays on the first date?
Whoever I did was to go on the date.
Too many thoughts on my mind, I can't sleep at night, so I just keep writing.
I don't want to be put in a box if you only have to do this because this is what people think of you. I saw a comment where someone said, you need to stay in your lane. You can have ambitions, but don't be too ambitious. And to me, that was that kind of like, shut up and dribble comment to where it really, I read it to my husband in bed and I was just like, this will even push me harder.
It's not hard to get up and do something you love every day. And I think people get judged off their work ethic incorrectly because they get judged, their work ethic is judged off of how well and how consistent they're doing work they don't enjoy. How can you judge somebody off of that? Yeah. Judge me off of, what I love. That's how I can really tell if you're about it or not. Like, you say you love this, you say you love basketball, and I know you do, but you're not putting in the work. That's how I know you're not really about it. Now I can judge you accurately.